Warriors, written by Logan Highsmith, CO. Author Thaddeus Lawrenson. Chapter 1. Moving to a new place was never easy, but I had come to terms with my transition from the windmill farms in the old neighborhood to the sprawling suburb of Greyhawk on the outskirts of Forney. Home for me since birth, Forney was where I grew up and stayed with my family. My sister Alexis' voice echoed from downstairs. "Logan, do you want to go for a bike ride around the block?" "Sure," I replied as I went down and got my bike. We began our journey, weaving between houses as we made our way up the street. Here, we found no neighbors and few occupants at all. In stark contrast, the other streets were always busy and bustling with cars and pedestrians. "Slow down," I said as we reached the end of the block and Alexis raced ahead of me. Turning onto the street back towards our house, we coasted along until finally we arrived back home safe and sound. When we got home, Alexis slipped away to her room while I headed toward the kitchen, stomach grumbling in anticipation of a snack. The next morning, as I opened my eyes, I heard the distant rumble of an engine and saw a blue truck pulling into the driveway of the empty house across the street. Curiosity piqued, I grabbed my sneakers and bounded outside. I approached the new home's front door and rapped on it with my knuckles. A moment later, a small boy wearing jeans and a faded t-shirt answered. "Hey, I saw you guys just moved in here and wanted to introduce myself. My name is Logan and I live at the house across the street," I said. The boy smiled and introduced himself as Johnny. He stepped away for a second before returning with his brother Justin in tow. Justin was several years older than Johnny but still looked much younger. He welcomed me warmly and briefed me on their family, Eva, who was a few years older than Johnny, Anna, their newborn sister, and their parents, who were inside. Justin excitedly suggested that we go explore the backyard together. He held a small flower pot as he rooted around for something. It seemed he had found an unusual wild plant growing near the edge of the house and thought he might have stumbled onto some new species. I bent down and touched the small yellow flower, its leaves velvety beneath my fingertips. I squinted at it in the sun. Johnny, with his eyes wide and sparkling, was about to pluck it from the earth. Just as he was about to stick it in his mouth, a gust of wind tugged at the petals and they spiraled skyward. Johnny's joyous expression quickly shifted into a scowl and he stomped inside with Justin and Eva following close behind. Their father stood on the porch, arms folded across his chest. Approximately 2 weeks later in the afternoon. At 1 p.m., there was a knock on the door and Justin was present upon opening. He was accompanied by someone whom I had not previously met. I inquired of Justin as to his identity. Justin indicated that we should make acquaintances, introducing me and Thaddeus to one another. "Logan, Thaddeus," he said, gesturing towards each of us in turn. "Thaddeus, Logan." Thaddeus displayed his recently acquired skateboard while visiting Justin's house. Weeks to months passed and as time went on everyone felt like they had gotten to know each other better. Relationships and bonds between everyone grew ever stronger, fostering an atmosphere of familiarity and comfort. I arrived at Thaddeus's residence at approximately 1:30 and was greeted by Brooklyn and Lily, his sisters, who informed me Thaddeus had gone to the park. Before I had the chance to take my bike out to the park, my sister Alexis came out from the house. "Where are you off to?" she inquired, and I responded by explaining that I was on my way to pick up Thaddeus from the park. She agreed to let me go under the condition that she accompany me. Since suffering a seizure a few years ago, I have felt the weight of people observing my every action. Alexis and I ventured to the park, where we found Thaddeus and an African-American kid who, by my estimation, may have been approximately 10 years of age. Thaddeus introduced us to his acquaintance, Nathaniel. After spending some time chatting and having a good time, we noticed the darkness of the evening around 6:30/7:00 and decided to head back home. Over the course of several weeks, Justin and Nathaniel developed a strong friendship, while Thaddeus enjoyed a ride on the front of Alexis's bike. Unfortunately, her skateboard was dropped in the sewer. Several weeks later, in the early morning hours, Thaddeus appeared at my door, stating, "Logan, I have someone I would like you to meet." I put forth the query who. Thaddeus remarked that there was a female student in school who had caught his eye, and that her name was Madison. We proceeded up the street to her house, which was located in close proximity to Thaddeus's house. Thaddeus proceeded to the door and rapped upon it. Chapter 2. After what seemed to be an extended period of time, someone eventually responded to the door. An approximately 8-year-old girl answered the door. It was readily apparent from Thaddeus's expression that it was not Madison. The girl asked what had brought us there. Thaddeus inquired if Madison was at home. The young girl declared that Madison was home, and that she would go retrieve her. Minutes later, Madison arrived and Thaddeus unfettered, "This is Logan, my new friend." Thaddeus inquired, what was the identity of the female individual who answered the door. Madison indicated that her friend Catherine had been present for a brief period of time. Catherine inquired as to the identity of the boys. I introduced myself and Thaddeus introduced himself likewise. Thaddeus suggested we go to his house. Thaddeus opened the garage door at his residence, allowing us entry into his garage. I heard Justin's exclamation from the bottom of the street as he exclaimed, "Hey guys!" Approximately 5 minutes later, Madison's parents arrived in a van to collect her. A few days later Catherine counseled that we go in the woods. Me and Justin asked our parents. Our parents stated no, so they went by themselves, and that definitely did not look like an awful idea in any respect, I'm being sarcastic, it was a horrible idea. There was something about Catherine I did not trust. Me and Justin went right down to my house and around that point Nathaniel came around. I would say about 30 to 35 minutes later we heard a scream within the woods, "Thaddeus!" We heard a voice scream that sounded precisely like Catherine's voice. Thaddeus and Catherine did not return from the woods until approximately 2 hours later. When they returned, I inquired as to what had occurred for Catherine to have let out a scream, to which she replied that she had been unable to find Thaddeus. It was getting late and Alexis came outside. A few days later, Madison invited us up to her residence. Justin had to go inside. So me, Alexis, Thaddeus, Nathaniel and Catherine went up to Madison's residence. Undoubtedly, given the short distance, procuring our bicycles was the most logical course of action rather than walking. Madison entered her residence and, in ensuing moments, silence ensued among those who remained. Upon hearing Catherine's inquiry of who wants to go to my house, everyone waited in expectation. Madison unhurriedly opened the door. I was abruptly forced to the ground and experienced a strike on my back. I was so taken aback by the unexpected event that I was rendered all but immobile. I heard multiple voices yelling, "Catherine, stop!" I had finally gained an understanding of the situation and tried to move, but I was pinned in place. The punches all came to a sudden halt. I desperately attempted to stand myself up again, prompting the inquiries of Thaddeus, Alexis, Madison, and Nathaniel if I was all right. Tears gathered in my eyes, a stark testament to my fear and alarm. "It remains unclear," I said, with tears still flowing down my cheek. All those present regarded Catherine with visible ire. My bike being positioned at the boundary of the sidewalk, I concluded that I had persevered up to that point and thus declared to Alexis that I felt it was now the appropriate moment to depart. My back being in significant distress, we rode back home on our bikes with alacrity. As soon as we got inside, I went in the restroom to check my back. The scar was unreal. After weighing the available options, I chose to take respite on the couch in the expectation that the scar would improve. Approximately 5 minutes after the doorbell rang, Thaddeus and Nathaniel arrived at the door. They warned me in a concerned voice that I had visitors. When I stepped outside, there was an unexpected stillness as I noticed that Catherine was waiting for me on the driveway. So I proffered, my expression conveying an accusatory weight, "You make a feint for trust only to launch a surprise assault on me when I least suspect it." I asked. "Well, you weren't the one who saw your brother shot and killed in front of you?" Catherine screamed at me. "Someone killed your brother," I interjected, my incredulity having rendered me unable to accept what I had heard without question. For a brief moment I considered the possibility that Catherine might be attempting to divert us with her statement. Catherine declared that they were unaccompanied in the residence and that he had informed her that he would return within the span of 1 hour. Catherine emphatically proclaimed that it had been far beyond the passage of an hour, yet he had yet to return. Catherine declared that her patience had reached its limit and that she had taken it upon herself to locate him. Catherine articulated that she proceeded toward the front of the vicinity close to Madison's residence, since she had a dysphoric sensation he was there. Upon entering the area, she discovered him and someone next to him who produced a firearm. I inquired as to how this was related to me. "Oh, it's not, I just don't like you," Catherine stated very clearly. "I'm not the one who beats up people for no reason," I stated. "I think I know how we can settle this." Catherine yelled at the top of her lungs. "How is that?" I asked. "A war, I declare, a neighborhood war," Catherine declared. "Okay, we'll fight you. I made it very clear. Just know that I will be taking this very seriously," Catherine stated. Catherine then got on her bike and left, and I turned to face the others. "We will meet up here tomorrow morning and inform Justin of what happened," I stated. Chapter 3. Me, Alexis, and Nathaniel arrived at Justin's door the next morning. No sign of Thaddeus, however. About 5 minutes later Justin responded to the door in a surprised manner, inquiring as to the reason for our distress. Upon relaying the events of the day before, a discussion ensued as we made our way to Thaddeus's house. Once our arrival was made, I rapped on the door, and Brooklyn and Lily emerged in response. I inquired if Thaddeus was home, which was followed by Thaddeus coming outside. I asked him, almost bewilderedly, where he had been that morning. He informed us that Catherine had asked him to help her instead of us. "What did you say?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "Me and Thaddeus went at it." "Wait, I'm lying to her to get info," Thaddeus yelled. Me and Thaddeus pulled back from the fight and took a few deep breaths. "What's going on, Thaddeus?" Nathaniel asked. "Yay, care to explain?" Alexis and Justin asked. "Yeah, care to explain?" Eva and Johnny, who were apparently there, said. "When did you guys get here?" I asked. "Oh, we followed you," Eva stated. "Guys, I'm secretly trying to help you," Thaddeus made it clear to everyone. When the full scope of the situation became evident, a sense of relief swept the room as we realized that Thaddeus was still an ally. I was startled to hear a burst of laughter from up the street, and soon I discerned that it was emanating from Catherine and some of her companions, alongside an unknown male, who had all descended on their bicycles. "Oh crap," everyone said. "Now would be a really good time for a miracle to happen," Nathaniel said. Everyone exclaimed in surprise as a boy came out from the house across the street with a gel gun. The boy fired his gel gun, knocking multiple of them off their bikes. Justin explained to me that it was his friend, Grayson, who had come to provide us backup. We sprinted into Thaddeus's backyard as Grayson kept on firing the gel gun at the adversaries. Brooklyn and Lily emerged into the backyard. Brooklyn inquired as to what was taking place. Thaddeus expounded upon the situation. "Why is there recurrent animosity between you and your female counterparts?" inquired Lily. "Shall we invite her to join us?" suggested Brooklyn as she headed toward the gate in an attempt to open it. I interjected. She exerted her strength and successfully opened the gate, causing me to stumble in the process. "Don't," I stuttered, still recovering from my fall. By the time Brooklyn realized her mistake, it was too late. Catherine and her friends had broken into Thaddeus's backyard. Grayson hopped the fence and hit one of Catherine's friends with his gel gun. "Hit him where it hurts," Grayson yelled as they fell to the floor. I found a stick on the ground, and one of Catherine's friends tackled me to the ground. I heard sharp rubbing against the fence. The girl who was on top of me let out a scream as the sharp wooden stick pushed her off of me. "Makeshift sword," Thaddeus said. Multiple of Catherine's friends retreated, however the few that did stay still had Nathaniel, Justin, and Alexis and the others surrounded. Thaddeus and Grayson and I fought them off with ease. The unknown male from earlier was still nowhere in sight. Who was he? Brooklyn and Lily finally caught on to what was going on, claiming that they would help us out. We all went inside Thaddeus's house to relax for a little while, seeing as Catherine and her friends had retreated from the fight. Nathaniel looked uneasy about something. I did not know what, but I could just tell. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Oh, nothing," Nathaniel replied. "I noticed we could make swords out of the pieces of wood we found," Thaddeus stated. "I can go find some," Nathaniel suggested. "Okay, but if you're gone for more than 10 minutes we are coming to look for you," I said. Nathaniel went into the woods to get some wood. Me, Justin, Thaddeus, Alex and the others went down to Justin's house. Upon arriving at the backyard, we discovered that the previously unidentified male was present. Grayson pulled out the gel gun, ready to fire. The unidentified male slowly began to walk towards us. "Take a chill pill," the unidentified male said. "You think I'm actually friends with her?" the unidentified male said very sarcastically. "My name is Brennan. I heard about what was going on and thought you guys needed help," Brennan said. Brennan told us that he lived on the same street as Catherine, next door to her to be exact, so he was always seeing her and that they were not really friends. "Hey guys, how long has Nathaniel been gone?" I asked, realizing that we had gotten so caught up in talking to Brennan that we hadn't even noticed he had been gone for that long. "About 20 minutes. Justin said. Everyone looked at each other with worry. We arrived at the conclusion that it was necessary to make haste to the woods. Chapter 4. Me and the rest of the group walked along the long dirt trail. "Guys, I'm stumped," Thaddeus said jokingly. "Is now really the time for a joke like that?" I asked. "I bet Catherine is behind this somehow," Grayson said. "Agreed," Justin stated. "We should split up into groups, it would make finding him easier," Brooklyn suggested. I guess it could work," I said. We split into 2 groups. The first group of Thaddeus, me, Justin and Brooklyn, and the second group of Grayson, Brennan, Lily, Eva, and Johnny and Alexis. Our plan was to split up and meet back at the entrance if we found Nathaniel. As we walked down the dirt part of mostly trees as far as the eye could see, I stated, "Guys, it just keeps going, we should go the other way." We made our way through the trees and came across a large deep lake. "So, we jump this then?" Thaddeus asked. We all exchanged glances before taking the leap. I exhaled with relief upon our arrival on the other side. Suddenly out of the blue we heard a young girl's voice. "Nathaniel, where are you?" the girl said. We followed the sound of the voice through the trees, eventually locating its source. A young African-American girl, whom I had assumed was Nathaniel's sister. We approached her with caution in order to avoid startling her. She abruptly turned in our direction, indicating that she was aware of our presence. "Who's there?" the girl asked. "We're looking for Nathaniel, we heard a voice in the trees and that's how we found you." "Are you Nathaniel's sister?" I asked. "Yes, my name is Isabella," Isabella said. "You're not working with Catherine, are you?" Isabella asked in a rather worried tone. "No, completely the opposite," Thaddeus stated. "I hate her after what she did to me," Isabella said very angrily. Me, Justin, Thaddeus, Brooklyn and Isabella went deeper into the woods. We came upon a long dirt path that seemed to lead to a gate. It appeared that the gate was locked, so we proceeded to climb over it. I was able to get over it after some difficulty. We discovered an abandoned car with cracked windows, Nathaniel evidently trapped inside. Without assessing the risk of very possible harm, we made an attempt to traverse the barbed wire. Don't be like me, remember that it is inadvisable to climb over barbed wire due to potential injury. "Guys, you sure took your time," Nathaniel said. "How did you manage to get trapped in a car?" I asked. "Well, I went into the woods and then Catherine and her friends chased me. I found this car and tried to hide in it, but then realized I could not get out. Nathaniel said. You scared the crab apples out of me. Isabella screamed at Nathaniel. We need to get out of here and find the others. Before Thaddeus did not get to finish his sentence, Catherine and her friends had found us. Luck would have it, Justin said. Hold them off, find a way. Brooklyn yelled, not making things any better. We were surrounded, the way things were looking, and they were not looking good. Guys, over here! Brennan yelled. We turned around to see him and the others there to save us. Come this way, Grayson yelled. The group, finally reunited, ran up the dirt path. I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it would work, Lily said. What is it? Brennan asked. See that piece of wood hanging off the tree, grab it and tie it with some string. Lily said. We took the wood off of the tree and tied it with some string. Are you sure this will work? Justin asked. Only one way to find out, I said. We tied around the tree and pulled. Catherine and her friends were on to us and this plan was not appearing to work. Suddenly the tree fell, blocking their path. Nice job, guys, Nathaniel said. After concluding our woodland expedition, everyone began their return journey to the entrance. Fatigued from the day's efforts, we happily accepted Thaddeus's request to reconvene at his house the following morning. Chapter 5. A feeling of disquiet lingered in the air the following morning, along with the brisk winds. Thaddeus, Brennan, Brooklyn, Lily, Grayson, Justin, Nathaniel, Isabella, Eva, and Johnny were in attendance, along with an additional unknown child whom Grayson had brought. Alexis was tired and could not join the group outside. I inquired of Grayson as to the identity of the person, to which he replied, "This is Knox, my cousin." "Hey Logan, I have a favor to ask of you," Brennan stated. "What is it?" I asked. "Me and a few of the others are going to head over to Overland Grove really quickly, keep watch, make sure nothing happens." "Overland Grove?" I asked. "Yay, it's the neighborhood across from Greyhawk, we won't be long," Brennan stated. Justin, Nathaniel, and I were entrusted to keep watch. It didn't take long after they left for us to notice one thing: Justin was nowhere to be found. Me and Nathaniel started to panic. Suddenly a girl with roller skates came skating down the street. "What's going on here?" the girl asked. We blinked and our friend was gone. Me and Nathaniel both stated, "Help! Someone help!" We heard Justin scream from up the street. "We gotta go," I stated. "Oh, my name's Kate, by the way," Kate said. "I'm Logan and this is Nathaniel," I stated. We tracked his voice to one of the houses still being built. I suggested to Kate that she should go first without implying any fear on my part. We took precautionary steps as we entered, mindful to steer clear of any potential hazards. We came to what was some sort of backyard-type area of the house. We found Justin. His arm was beaten up rather badly. "What happened to you?" I asked. "I think you already know the answer to that," Justin said very humorously. "Who's this?" Justin asked. "Oh, her name is Kate, she was helping us find you." We heard a laugh behind us. It appeared Catherine and her friends had found us. We were prepared to defend ourselves. Suddenly someone punched one of them out of the way. "Told you we wouldn't be long," Thaddeus said. Knox grabbed the grappling hook that we had made back in the woods. He hit a few of them in the face with it. "That is how it's done," Knox said. Grayson pulled out his gel gun and shot a few of them. We made the decision to depart after it was made clear that our counterparts had to abruptly withdraw from the situation. Later that day about 6:07 p.m. everyone decided to meet over at my house to discuss something. "What did you want to talk about?" I asked. "I've been thinking, we all have been hanging out in a group together all this time, shouldn't we have a group name?" Thaddeus asked. "Like what?" Nathaniel asked. "Oh, I don't know, Indians or something like that," Thaddeus said. "What about warriors?" I asked. Everyone just sort of froze there, before Thaddeus spoke up. It does kinda have a cling to it, Thaddeus said. I like it too, Justin said. Everyone seemed to like the name Warriors, so that's what we decided to call ourselves. About an hour later, it was getting dark. Everyone was sitting around on one of the open lots. Who wants to talk about their past or something? I asked. What about your past, Logan? Justin asked. I'll tell you later, I said. About 30 minutes later we all went in for the night. Little did we know that the final battle was soon to come and that something bigger than we ever expected was going to happen. Chapter 6. The next morning I made my way up to Thaddeus's residence. I rapped upon the door and when Thaddeus answered he was crying. I could tell something was wrong. What's going on? I asked. Madison, she broke my heart. Thaddeus finally managed to get the words out. How did she break your heart? I asked. Well, I happened to be in the same room as her and she was with this boy and then. Thaddeus was saying before I interrupted him, that was a little more that I needed to know, I said. Listen, forget about her, don't let this affect the rest of your life. I said. Thanks, I needed that, Thaddeus said. Me, Thaddeus and Alexis headed up to the park to meet up with the others. Catherine and her friends were of course there waiting for us. This ends tonight, Catherine said before her and her friends ran off. You heard her, this ends tonight. Thaddeus said. We can win this, once and for all, Justin and Nathaniel declared. Everyone yelled in agreement. The next morning felt strange, a sense of victory flipped the air. I went up to Thaddeus's door and rapped upon it. Hey Logan, I have news, we won. What happened? I asked. Well, it was late, someone rapped on the door. It was Catherine and her friends and they started beating me up. Then out of the blue my dad came outside, said, hey, do you know my son? Yay, what do you want? Catherine replied. If you ever come back on this street again, you will regret it, my dad screamed at them. Thaddeus said they ran off at the speed of light. I don't think they're ever coming back. Thaddeus said we should go tell the others, I said. We went down to Justin's house where we met up with the others. What happened, Thaddeus? Justin asked. Soon everyone was asking Thaddeus what happened. Thaddeus took a deep breath. Okay, so basically. The end epilogue. Christmas was coming fast and snow was falling down in the streets of Greyhawk. Yes, it's snowing in Texas. We should get some sleds and attach them to the back of my dad's truck. Justin said. We got the sleds out of Justin's dad's workshop and attached them to the back of the truck. Justin's dad drove up around the block with the sleds and I must say it was fun. It was only a few months until virtual school ended and it would be summer break. I realized I was going back to public school. Summer break came and Brennan admitted to us that he had feelings for Lily. He wanted me to help him tell her. Thaddeus had gotten over Madison and decided that if she didn't want him that he didn't want her. Grayson was just Grayson and same with Knox. Nathaniel and Isabella went home to work on the hacker problems that Nathaniel seemed to be having. Everyone went back to living their normal lives. As for me, what comes next is unknown, only time will tell. This all just goes to show you that even in the worst of times, never give up.